on, everybody? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Sporty Hour. I am your host, Sporty Jordy. Thank you guys so much for choosing to spend your Saturday afternoon with me. We have a lot of really fun stuff to get into today. Obviously, we are kicking off Wild Card Weekend today at 4:30 with the Chargers against the Texans. So we are just going to go through all of the games for Wild Card Weekend, kind of do some previews, some predictions. And then obviously we're going to have a very hefty chat about the Philadelphia Eagles game against the Green Bay Packers. And then I got some requests for a full playoff bracket. So I completed one. We are going to be putting that together and we will be going over that at the end of the show. I am so excited. We are live on a handful of platforms right now. If you see me looking over this way, it is because TikTok. We are live there on my phone right now. And then we are also going live on YouTube and Instagram as well. So I am so excited to spend the afternoon. I'm getting a lot of talk of draft reaction. Guys, we haven't even fully kicked off the playoffs yet. We have some time. Everyone knows how much I love the NFL draft, and we will be getting into a lot of that content starting in a few weeks. But right now, our mindset is fully in preparation for playoffs. Like I said, we are going to get started talking about Wild Card Weekend. Some breaking news before we get into actual playoff games. Deshaun Watson has ruptured his Achilles yet again, and there's potential that he could miss the entire 2025 season. So some crazy things happening there. If we want to, speaking of draft talk, there's going to be a lot of big question marks going into this offseason. But like I mentioned, too early. We have a lot of games to get into. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's start talking about today's game. Chargers at Texans starting at 4:30 p.m. This is actually one of the playoff matchups I am the most excited to watch. And I'm going to tell you why. These are two very evenly matched teams. And these are teams that I think made it into the postseason, but we still have a lot of question marks about both of them. The Chargers, just talking about the season as a whole, completely blew me away. I came into the season with very low expectations and not anything against Justin Herbert or their brand new head coach. I just thought this team was in a very big transition year. They lost a lot of pieces the last offseason. We're coming in with a pretty young team. And again, I just didn't really know what the season was going to look like for them. I did not have them making the playoffs. So this is really impressive to see. And I think we've seen a lot of really incredible things out of them so far this season. And I couldn't say more of the opposite about the Houston Texans. I had such high expectations for the Texans coming into this year. And if you watch, but please don't, because it was so blatantly wrong. I did post a 2024 predictions video right before the season started. And I was like, if you are not scared of the Houston Texans coming into this year, then you are out of your mind. And granted, they were good, but they were not, we definitely saw a sophomore slump from CJ Stroud. They were definitely not as explosive as I was kind of anticipating. Granted, they were flooded with injuries from the moment the season started, which doesn't help. But yeah, either way, with all of that said, both of these teams have made it to the postseason. They are playing each other today. What do we think is going to happen in this game? I have some thoughts, and we'll take a look at my playoff bracket later. I played it pretty safe in the AFC, which I'm still kind of on the fence about. However, this game, oh my God, on TikTok, I have a cowboy hat and a mustache right now. So that's something you don't see every day. Anyway, this matchup, I did not play it super safe in this matchup. Granted, it's a 4 seed playing a 5 seed. I think this game, no matter what, is a toss-up. Chargers are the 5 seed, but they're coming in as betting favorites. So I did take the Chargers in this matchup. I'm getting a lot of go birds in the comments. I promise we will get to all of our Eagles talk later on in the show. But yeah, I am going to take the Chargers today. I just think we've seen some really impressive things out of Justin Herbert this season. Not that the Texans have been. It's so tough. But Chargers, like I said, are coming in, depending on your book, at 2.5 3-point favorites. They are 7-1 against the spread when they're favored by 3 points or more this season. Whereas on the flip side, the The Texans are coming in 2-2 this season as underdogs with a 3-point spread or greater. So betting trends wise, if that's kind of the direction you're going, Chargers are the easy pick here. Either way, I think the Chargers have it in the bag. What could get interesting, Justin Herbert has the fewest interceptions this season out of any NFL quarterback. He has just 3 interceptions. The Texans are second in the league with defenses or with interceptions on defense. I believe they're right around 19. So if they can put a lot of pressure on him and get him a little flustered, things could get interesting. But do I foresee that happening? No. Justin's been calm, cool, and collected all season. I think it's been really, really impressive. Like I said, with the situation that they were kind of coming into. I got a comment here. No reason the Texans win. I completely agree. Obviously, if they can get Joe Mixon going, I think it could be close. But I honestly am expecting not a blowout, but a very comfortable win from the Chargers at the end of this game. I think they absolutely cover 3. The only thing I'm nervous about is the over. I think I saw it at 41.5. I think this game could be fairly defensive, like I just mentioned with the Texans defense, but the Chargers defense has been playing great as well. And we know the Texans are dealing with some injuries, so we'll see. But I definitely think the Chargers cover 3. I think they move on to the divisional round. And I think the Texans have just some reevaluating to do going into next season. They don't have to do anything crazy. Basically, just get healthy, find your rhythm. And I'm not worried about them long term. Happy they made it to the postseason, but unfortunately, I think the road ends there for them today. We have a comment here. I've got the Chargers and the Ravens winning today, Bills, Eagles, and Commanders tomorrow, and Rams on Monday. Like I said, we are going through every single game one at a time. This is my version of the Eras Tour, and you will get all of my picks later on as well. We have Zach commenting, this is the perfect game for the Texans to stupidly decide to start trying. Texans with a win by 2 to 5 points is a sneaky option. Okay, so that would mean you're taking the Texans covering the spread. I'm getting a lot of go birds here. Thanks for all the follows and likes on TikTok. This means so much. I'm having so much fun. I've missed long form content. I've been out of the game for a while, so it is very, very good to be back. Sanaya's watching. I love you. I love you, Sanaya. Thank you. Love you too, Cass. But going back to Zach's initial comment, I completely agree. And even if the Texans win, my thing is with how competitive the AFC, I don't think they have a chance of moving on past the divisional round. Whereas the Chargers, they have a vibe and an energy this season. Whatever Jim Harbaugh brought in to this team, it's unbelievable. I've seen all the videos of them talking about just like the impact that he's had, and it just seems like they're having so much fun, which when you get to this point of the season is such a huge part of it because momentum and energy is going to be what keeps these teams going. Obviously staying healthy and the talent is also a large factor of that. But really, I mean, coming from an Eagles fan, we basically won our Super Bowl with a backup quarterback and everyone playing with a chip on their shoulder. It was straight vibes. So the Chargers, I think, could get sneaky if they do win today. The Texans, I don't think are going to be able to do anything if they are able to sneak out a win. We got a comment. I think Herbert slings it in this game over 300 yards, definitely. I completely agree. I think the Chargers are going to come out. I have a feeling this is going to be like a 24-point game from the Chargers with Texans 24-10. That's my, make it 27-10. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Chargers Texans. Join me in the comments everywhere. Let me know your thoughts. And it sucks so bad. I am so beyond excited for the Steelers-Ravens game tonight at 8 p.m. What sucks so bad is I have my company holiday party tonight, which my company holiday party is like my favorite event of the whole year. We rent out the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. Everyone gets super bougie. It's just a really fun night for the whole company to hang out and be together, and it's so wonderful. I just hate that the Steelers and the Ravens are playing at the same time because holy shit, is this game going to be phenomenal. I have no words. These are two teams that play each other like it's the Super Bowl every time they match up during the regular season. Now we are literally in the postseason. And it's been quite the interesting season for the AFC North. The whole division in general did not shape up the way I was anticipating, other than the Browns. I'm sorry. I know this is so mean. I never have any expectations for the Browns ever. And you know what? I honestly, like I said, sounds mean. I think that is me doing them a favor, because then all of a sudden, if they come out and they start moving and grooving, it's like, whoa, look at the Browns. But if you set no expectations for them, then they can't hurt anybody. So sorry, Browns fans. Like I mentioned, the Deshaun Watson news opening the show. Yeah, don't really know what to expect for the future of the Browns. However, they're kind of relevant right now because we are in the postseason. They did not get there. Then we had the Bengals. The Bengals, it was kind of the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen from a football team because they were playing so well. At least their offense. Let me clarify. Their offense was playing so well. Joe Burrow was putting up like MVP numbers with a team that could not win a football game. Like, I just, it blew my fucking mind. But it just goes to show how bad their defense truly was this season. And then they started figuring it out right at the end. They had the chance. Then put your tinfoil hats on. You now have the conspiracy theory that the Bengals could have snuck their way into the playoffs if the Chiefs won against the Broncos, which any other week of the season, you're like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Not taking anything away from Bo Nix, because we will get into that as well. But if the Chiefs won against the Broncos last week, then the Bengals had everything that they needed to make their way to the playoffs. Not only did the Chiefs lose, they put up 0 fucking points. I went into that game and I was like, I am so excited to watch Carson Wentz. Obviously, the relationship at the end with him leaving Philly was messy, but still, I respect him so much. I respect what he was able to do for us when he was healthy. So yeah, like I still root for him. I would still love to see him play and play well somewhere. So yeah, I went into that game and I was like, I can't wait to watch Carson Wentz. Like, I hope he can kind of revamp his name for himself. No, absolutely not. I don't even really know what to make of that performance. And then, as I was saying, put the tinfoil hats on. Everyone started coming out and being like, oh, the Chiefs just didn't want to face the Bengals in the postseason because they're getting hot. And they were nervous. And then Travis Kelce went on the New Heights podcast, kind of shut it down. He was like, I will play them in a Walmart parking lot. I will play anybody. Yeah, interesting. The Bengals need to figure it out on defense coming into next season because Joe Burrow just deserves better. That entire offense deserves better. And then we're going to have the contract conversations. It's just going to be a lot, but they unfortunately missed the mark. And now we have Steelers Ravens. So my anticipations for this game, I am not expecting necessarily a high scoring game, but I am expecting a very, very intense, gritty matchup, which is what you want to see in the postseason. Am I right? All right, so let me get through some comments here. I'm getting Denver scares me. Let's see. Bengals deserve the playoffs. I agree. I would have loved to see the Bengals. I was rooting. So that was the one time I was freaking rooting for the Chiefs in a very long time. And they couldn't get it done. Yes. I'm sure you said this. I'm sure this was commented prior to me talking about it, but yes, the comment is, did you see Travis comment on the Chiefs throwing the game? That was, and just one more thing about that. He got very defensive, like very, very angry and upset by the situation. And I was like, how pissed you are about it makes me wonder if it's true. Kidding. Kind of. I think the Ravens are taking it in this one for sure. Let's see. How are we feeling? Before I give my thoughts, let's let everyone else get their last thoughts in. I'm seeing a lot of Ravens. And without further ado, I will let you know I am also taking the Ravens in today's game. The Steelers played a great start to the regular season. It's funny because these two teams kind of flipped. Ravens started out this year 0-2, and this is a team I had going to the Super Bowl. So I was like, shit, like what the hell is going on here? But then they obviously went on this incredible stretch. Couldn't beat the Eagles though. Sorry. I love Lamar Jackson. I'm like so torn. Anywho, Ravens came on strong late in the year. The Steelers completely fumbled at the end of the season. Last I saw, the Ravens were a 9.5-point favorite. Yes, thank you. To me, I'm very betting wise, very stuck on what to do. I think the Ravens win. No matter what. If we're talking money line, Ravens win. With the 9.5-point spread, there's no need to take the money line. So we got to figure out exactly what we want to do here. When the Ravens and the Steelers played each other in Baltimore earlier this season, blowout. Absolute blowout. But this is a Mike Tomlin team in the postseason. So, like I said, Ravens win, but a 9.5-point spread in the playoffs does make me nervous. Would I love to watch Lamar Jackson go out there and win 40-7? Yes. For those that don't know, if you're new here, new to me, if you only know me from my Eagles content, let me fill you in on some lore here. Let me take a deep breath. Lamar Jackson is potentially my favorite football player of all time. I from the moment I started watching him, and when he was in college, I'm still very early into getting into college, on like a larger scale past the Florida Gators, who are my team. So I didn't really get to watch him at Louisville. And then I started watching him in the NFL, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I feel like the early Lamar Jackson days, just like watching him do what he does, took my breath away. I was like, he's just phenomenal. He's so amazing at what he does. I can't say enough good things about him. Not only as an NFL player, I hate that he doesn't get the respect that I think he deserves. I still think he's kind of doubted way too much. But yeah, so I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. Obviously, my Eagles always come first, but Lamar Jackson holds a very special place in my heart. So it's also very hard to be, yeah, there's a lot of crazy comments on TikTok. So please just ignore them. I am hosting too much at once, so I don't know how to freaking get rid of them. Ignore any inappropriate comments on TikTok from bots because they don't care, or they don't matter. Where was I? I was talking about how much I love Lamar Jackson. Yeah, so that's basically it. So it's also very hard for me to unbiasedly bet or pick against the Ravens in general. Again, we'll go deeper to that in my playoff bracket, which was really hard for me to make. But yeah, like I said, I think Ravens cover. I have a comment here about taking an alternate spread with the Ravens, which I think is very smart. But yeah, I think this could be like I said, a very back and forth game, but in more of a defensive feel. And then Lamar Jackson is just going to have a couple like unbelievable plays that get the Ravens ahead. Sorry, now I'm all distracted with these. Minor. How do I literally settings? Learn new ways to use block keywords. Go to keyword tips. This is going to be insane. Save. All right. We will get back to NFL once I finish banning bots and annoying little kids from my TikTok live. I think that worked. No, what the frick? Can I boot someone? Block. Haha. Done. I think I saved it. All right. Hi, welcome back to football. Hi, Aunt Fran. I also think this is going to be a low scoring game. All right, sweet. We are moving on to Broncos Bills on Sunday afternoon. Damn. I got a comment in here from my mother. Where was it? Hi, mommy. Denver scares me, may upset. I low-key thought about this as well. I want to pull up betting odds here because I don't have it right in front of me. So right now we have, again, what is with these fairly large spreads in the postseason? 8.5 points for Buffalo. This one, though, this game is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be, well, obviously, I was going to be like, it's either going to be very close or it's going to be a blowout. Like, no shit. Those are literally the only two options. I'm all flustered with trying to block comments. Hi, Bills by $1 billion. All right, so everyone's feeling pretty confident about the Bills with a large spread here. And I think the one thing that we really have to consider here is Bo Nix has played absolutely lights out this season. We'll get into a little bit of rookie talk after we get through all the games with Jaden Daniels versus Bo Nix, because I think this is a very heated conversation, and we will obviously dive significantly deeper into NFL season awards closer to NFL honors. But he is a rookie, and rookies in the postseason, it's a very different dynamic. The speed of the game, the intensity, just the overall pressure. It's tough. It's very tough. I wouldn't personally know because I've never been an NFL rookie or played in that situation, but I can imagine it's pretty intimidating. I do think if the Broncos can ease nerves and just play like they have been, I think this game is close, but I do have the Bills winning. I'm low-key liking the cover of the Broncos, though, which may be crazy, but I don't know. We'll see. I have comments here. Good morning, Jordy. Good morning, Jake from State Farm. I also have Zach Hardy, Broncos 25, Bills 31, final overtime, an overtime game in the postseason, Bills Broncos. I would eat that up as long as it doesn't dig into my Eagles game. Let me check TikTok here. I got a Let's Go Steelers. Oh no, are people fighting? Who do you think win tonight? Pittsburgh Steelers or Baltimore Ravens? These are people who are joining TikTok Live a little bit later. I'm so sorry to tell you. I am taking the Ravens tonight, but I do think it's going to be a very close game. Where do I get that shirt? I got this shirt from Game Day Couture, their NFL collection. Oh my God. If you are a female sports fan and you go to a lot of games and you like to rep your team, Game Day Couture is an absolute must. They have just like the perfect amount of like girly, but not too girly. I feel like it's really hard to find quality, girly, trendy sportswear. So Game Day Couture. Awesome. Go Pack, sincerely a Cowboys fan. You can't even get to the postseason. How you gonna hate from outside the club? You can't even get in. Haha. All right. Sorry. I hear Cowboys and I just immediately get pissed. What's up, Jordy? Go Birds. Hello, go Birds. I know I'm going to be annoying. I've been going in order of the postseason schedule to get through all these games. I'm going to do the Eagles last just because I need to hold your attention a little bit longer. And also it's the one I want to obviously have the longest conversation on. So we're going to go talking about Broncos Bills right now. Then we are going to go, what game am I missing? Commanders Bucks, and then Vikings Rams. And then we're going to end on the Eagles, and then we're going to go through my playoff bracket. So if you're joining, that's where we're going to be. I'll take anyone except the Chiefs for Super Bowl this year. I sincerely agree. Eagles and Bills for the win. We have Dallas sucks all day, every day. Yes. This is the energy I like. I'm smelling an upset for that Bills game. Okay, we got a couple people in here that are expecting the Broncos to pull out an upset. I am not. Like I said, I think this could get close, but I think the Bills are going to win tonight. Josh Allen has just been like on an absolute another level since proposing to Haley Steinfeld. And literally, I can't even blame him. Haley Steinfeld, Jesus Christ. If she was my fiance, I would also be throwing darts and just having the time of my life with the uttermost confidence in the entire world. It just shows what happens when you have a strong, supportive woman by your side. We are seeing the side effects of that with Josh Allen right now. I did see a crazy stat. Speaking of Sean Payton, I saw an absurd stat that his record against like bald coaches is like crazy. I can't remember the numbers right now, so the stat doesn't mean much. But Sean Payton playing against bald coaches, he does tend to win. So if you are suspecting a Broncos upset and you needed one more piece of statistical evidence to push you over the edge, Sean Payton plays well against bald coaches. So Sean McDermott, watch out. Hello, my itself. Josh Allen for anytime touchdown. I'm always for a Josh Allen anytime touchdown. I wish I could bet on a Josh Allen hurdle because I would. But yeah, so far we've gone through 3 of the first wildcard weekend games. Chargers, Texans, I'm taking the Chargers -3. Steelers, Ravens, I'm going to take the Steelers +9.5. Broncos, Bills, I'm going to take the Bills -8.5. I know. I'm not on team. The Broncos are ready to fully take on the Bills. So, but I know anything can happen any given Saturday. Peyton against bald coaches was a stat I was not expecting. Bills -3.5. Okay, so we're going with an alternate spread here. Hello. Hello, my boys. Tell me who is winning the Super Bowl and why is it the Eagles? I am loving the hype for the Eagles right now. Mix in anytime touchdown and Texans money line. I'm loving all of these picks. Sean Payton being pro alopecia was not on my 2025 bingo card. I absolutely love it. Let's freaking go. Okay, like I said, the next game that we technically should be talking about is Packers Eagles. However, we're not going to fucking do that yet. We are going to hold that. And instead, we are going to go to potentially one of the nuttiest playoff matchups that we are going to see. I talked earlier about how excited I am for Chargers Texans just because I think the matchup itself is great. Commanders Bucks is going to be unreal television. Do I personally wish both teams could lose and neither advance? Yes, absolutely. However, that's not an option. They're playing each other. And from it, remove the Eagles fan in me. This is a great game. I think that this is going to be explosive, high scoring. Like, I think this is going to be very, very fun. So let's get into what we've seen from Baker Mayfield this season. I am a Baker Mayfield hater. I have been for a long time. Well, yeah, I almost took it back. I'm not ready to do that yet. Like I said earlier, I am just starting to really get super involved in college football because I love the NFL draft. Obviously, I love the NFL. I'm like, listen, for me to understand the draft better, I got to start watching these players earlier. So we're just really getting into the college football sphere. So I, again, didn't watch too much of the craziness that was Baker Mayfield in college. So when he came into the NFL, obviously I knew of all the hype. I knew all the lore. I knew all the Baker Mayfield lore. However, then he starts playing with the Browns and he just, to me, seemed like this really cocky, arrogant asshole, which you're talking to someone who loves Aaron Rodgers. If you're a cocky, arrogant asshole and you're good, I respect it. What pissed me off was like, it was very up and down. Granted, I know he got the Browns to their first playoff experience, oh my God, if I could freaking speak, that would be phenomenal. Their first playoff game in a very long time. So I know he had his moments there, but I don't know. I was just not on the Baker Mayfield train. Baker Mayfield in Tampa is a completely different story because I feel like I don't know. I feel like saying he's been humbled is a little too mean, but that's kind of what it was. Like now he's an underdog and he's coming in and he still has the same attitude, but it's not as much like that cocky arrogance. Like he's out there having fun. So I low key have been falling into the hype and hopping on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon. However, the Philadelphia Eagles can't fucking beat him. So I still hate him. We're just softening up a little bit. But the Bucks are a team that you can never just fully count out. They have so much talent with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all of their offensive weapons. Their run game is really strong. And like I said, Baker fucking Mayfield just out there doing his thing. Then you have the Commanders, who again, like we talked about with Bo Nix, phenomenal regular season. I was so upset when Jaden Daniels went to the Commanders because I was like, this is a quarterback that I would love to root for, that I would love to watch. And like the way I love Lamar Jackson, like when you're on another team, especially best case scenario in another fucking conference, it makes it a lot easier for me to support you and root for you unless you're playing the Eagles. When you're in the NFC East, it's do or die. Like I can't root for him and love him and support him in the way that I would like to. That does not take away from how talented and absolutely incredible he is. He plays with this poise, that just calmness. It's crazy. I feel like no matter what the situation is, the camera's cut to Jaden Daniels and he's smiling. Like no matter what, he's always smiling. And it's really impressive to see, like I said, coming in as a rookie, especially coming into a very uncertain situation, because in the offseason, I was like, yeah, the Commanders have some good names now. They got Zach Ertz, they got Austin Eckler, like they have these guys. I was like, this would have been a Madden dream team in 2015. Like this just felt like a very veteran, slightly washed up team to me. That was coming into this season. We've seen what they've been able to do. So it's going to be a fight to the death in this game. However, I see the Commanders winning it. I do. I don't know why. That's just literally my gut feeling. Commanders come out on top here. Let's take a look at the betting odds. The most books have the Bucks as 3-point favorites. Damn. So yeah, Bucks are coming in at 3-point favorites. I'm going underdog. If we're talking betting at that point, I would take Commanders money line. I also really like the over. But yeah, we got some Baker comments. Baker's doing well because unlike Cleveland, dumpster fire club, Tampa is a dumpster fire club that Brady recently sorry. There's so much overstimulation going on. My ADHD and the attention deficit is just taking a minute to catch up. So bear with me, people. Yeah, Brady just kind of shaped the culture. Now they actually give a fuck and want to win. I could not agree more. Yeah, and again, this is not anything against Baker Mayfield. This is not anything against the Bucks. I feel like the Bucks are a team of really talented players that just do not get enough credit. Mike Evans. And Chris Godwin, for really being honest. But, I just think the Commanders are going to win. There's no stat to back that up. That is just my initial gut feeling. We got a little parlay action today. Mixon and Henry anytime touchdown at plus 177. I actually really like that. Like that a lot. Bobby, again, like I said earlier, like these are names that you think they're towards the end, and they just came to Washington and are freaking like it's crazy. It's crazy to me. And now I heard a report halfway through the season that there were free agent players calling Washington and being like, I want to play for you. Like, I want to, like, when have we ever seen that in Washington? At least in my lifetime. I think the Bucks finally get demolished. Yeah. I think it's going to be close, but I do think the Commanders win. I like Daniels, but rookie quarterbacks don't win on the road historically in the playoffs. I know I am literally contradicting my own points because earlier in the show, that's my reason for I don't think that the Broncos can come in and beat the Bills. However, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, I don't know. We'll see. Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore, gonna be unreal. This is one of the games this weekend that I'm I don't know. I keep saying it. I'm just excited for it to be the playoffs because I've said it about Chargers and Texans. I said about the Steelers and the Ravens, but Broncos Bucks is gonna be legendary. Sweet. So that is our Sunday night game at 8 p.m. And then of course, we had a playoff game move to Monday night, and I don't want to get into it and change the vibes too much on the show, but real quick, I just do want to say prayers to everyone out in California and LA dealing with wildfires. It's so LA and California is one of my favorite places. Not even is other than Philly, one of my favorite place in the entire world. So to see all the destruction and everything that's happening there, it makes me very, very sad. So real quick, I just wanted to throw that in there, and I'm praying constantly for everyone that's still out there. And with the wildfires, the Vikings at the Rams, it was supposed to be played at SoFi in LA. It was moved to Arizona and will now be played Monday at 8 p.m. I thought this was the smartest decision. Even if SoFi was safe, you just don't want to crowd that many people when so many people are trying to evacuate. So now this game, home game for the Rams, but now being played in Arizona. I'm excited for this game, and I'll tell you why. I think this is going to be an upset, which I'm excited for. Let me see. He always gets in his head. Vikings at Rams. Like I said, I think this is going to be an upset. I think the Vikings, they did something absolutely incredible this season. You're coming in, you draft JJ McCarthy as a rookie. Sorry, I'm trying to formulate all my thoughts just because what the fuck? Like, who coming into the season would have expected this performance from Sam Darnold and the Vikings? Like I said, you lose JJ McCarthy. What happens after that? Like, I thought their season was done, and it just felt like so many things were going wrong for the Vikings coming into the season. I feel like every other day someone was like getting arrested or getting injured. So I just thought the Vikings were a total wash this season, and then they ended up making history, being a team with 14 wins that did not win their division. Like, absolutely unreal. But going off of that, they did not win their division because they had this really, really sloppy game against the Lions in week 18, which cost them the division. That game, everything was on the line for them. And now we're obviously seeing where they're at. I just think, I don't know, they easily could come out and play the way that they did all regular season. Absolutely. And if they do, then I think they win this game single-handedly. But what I saw from Sam Darnold last week was the Sam Darnold that we saw for a handful of years playing in New York, Carolina. So it's just, I'm like, this is kind of what we expect from him. And again, I was blown away by him. I don't want to take anything away from the performance that he was able to give in the regular season, but I don't know. I'm worried that the nerves are going to get to him. And you have Justin Jefferson out there there were like 3 touchdowns on back-to-back drives, touchdowns that were not touchdowns, that could have been if Sam Darnold just threw the ball slightly better. All his passes were like really hard, really high. You saw Justin Jefferson laying it out, doing everything that he possibly could, and they couldn't get it done. So that's kind of what I'm expecting coming into this one. Granted, they got the extra day, but we'll see, because then going up against the Rams, you have Sean McVay, who is an unbelievable head coach, paired with Matthew Stafford, who have already been down this road. They've won the Super Bowl of just a handful of years ago, not even just a few years ago, who are more kind of prepared for this environment. And the Rams had a very up and down season, again, flooded with injuries. And we've seen what they've been able to do to get to this point. So I do think that the Rams are going to come out on top here. Betting spread, the Vikings are still 2.5-point favorites. I'm going Rams money line all the way. I want to take a look at some comments. All my comments are Eagles. I'm getting either go Pack go or go Birds. So that's where we're at on TikTok. What's going to be the Eagles score? I will be getting to all Eagles talk in just a little bit. But if we have any talk on Vikings Rams right now, please lay it on me. Let's see. We have NFL playoffs need a revamp. The Vikings should not be on the road after their regular season, Peter. I agree. I think this was a crazy, crazy situation. And it kind of reminds me of the reverse of the NFC East from the NFC least years, when we were all like when the Giants, Eagles, Commanders, and Cowboys were all just so equally average or just painfully bad. And it was like you're fighting, like it was like someone has to make it to the postseason. This is a complete opposite of that because you have a whole division that was absolutely phenomenal. Like it was crazy, crazy. The NFC North is absurd, and I think it's going to be absurd for a very long time. So, yeah, it was very unfortunate, but that's just it's the way it is. The last time the Vikings lost to the Lions, they lost to the Rams the next week. Deja vu. That's crazy. And yeah, cue Deja Vu by Olivia Rodrigo because yes, I do think the Rams are going to get the win on Monday night. I also like I don't know. I think they're going to come out really, really hot. Rams 23, Vikings 29. Zach is on the opposite side of me. He has the Vikings winning. Again, if the Vikings come out and play like they did all regular season and they win this game, I will not be surprised. But I'm going Rams. How the fuck did the Rams pull the playoff out of their bums? Not surprised though. I feel like this is what they do. Literally. But then what makes me nervous is in the postseason, they are hot. I got another comment about my shirt. Thank you so much. Game Day Couture. I don't know what they do. Similar format to the NBA. Yeah, I guess they would just have to switch it if they did revamp playoff structure. It would probably just be like record, not conference. But then that doesn't really make sense. Well, besides the Bears, you're right. But I'm very torn on Caleb Williams. I'm choosing to be optimistic. And I think the Bears are going to get competitive in the future, like next season. Maybe not like Super Bowl competitive yet, but I do think that division is going to be crazy. I expected this out of the Vikings before the season. I'm not going to quit on them now. Kudos. I did not expect any of what we saw from the Vikings. I remember we were at like week 4 or 5, and I was like, Vikings are good. Like they were like undefeated, blowing everybody out. I was like, what the hell is going on in Minnesota? Fly, Eagles, fly, go Birds. Unfortunately, it seems like the Detroit game gave everyone the blueprint to slow down Sammy D. I agree. And listen, if you've been following me for a while, you know there's nothing I love more than an underdog story. I love rooting for the underdog. So I would love for Sam Darnold to go on this stretch until the NFC Championship where he played the Eagles and lost because the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. But yeah, I would love to see the stretch continue on. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen. Am I expecting a big game from Justin Jefferson? I'm honestly expecting to see exactly what we saw in the Lions game where Justin Jefferson, like I said, was like out there throwing his life on the line, going for all these insane catches. And the only person that has a chance of catching them is Justin Jefferson. But so I think he's going to look great stats wise, betting wise. I don't know. It literally comes down to the fact of if Sam Darnold can play like he did weeks 1 through week 17, like literally. If the Vikings wanted a home game, they should have taken care of business against Detroit. Divisions are amongst the best part of football. The NBA is a travesty these days. Don't take their notes. We were actually just talking about that at my gym the other day. How sad the NBA has gotten. And it makes me sad. Darnold pulling out the flamethrower and throwing 3+ tutties. Wow. That would be fire. If the Vikings win and Sam Darnold looks good, then what do they do with JJ McCarthy? This has been a conversation that I have been debating all season. And I am just really, really glad I'm not an NFL GM and specifically not the Vikings GM right now. Because what the fuck do you do? Like, we really haven't seen JJ. We have not seen JJ in an NFL game yet, coming off of a massive injury. It's like, obviously you just took this talented rookie quarterback very high in the draft, decently high in the draft. But yeah, and then you have Sam Darnold, who the team clearly meshes with, is playing great. And then they also went out and signed Daniel Jones, which Daniel Jones, I think, is a permanent backup, but it's just like, how many quarterbacks can you have? Also, even if they lose, I still think Sam Darnold's going to want to get paid. So it's like, then really, what do you do? Like, it's a very interesting situation. I don't know. I still think you got to ride with JJ. But then also it's like, then I think the Sam Darnold hype is over, because I think one of the things that's really working in Sam Darnold's favor is just the Viking system. So it's going to be a crazy, crazy offseason. I'm very excited to see what unfolds in New York, in Minnesota. I can't even think of the Sixers right now. It makes me sick. Yeah, I don't think about the Sixers. Not until Jared McCain is back. I love Tyrese Maxey. I'm very confident in the future of the 76ers. However, the 76ers right now just make me want to cry and turn off every light and shut every door and never leave my house again. Miss Green Bay. Yeah. The only thing is contract. Do they pay? I guess they could. And just have JJ sit, especially coming off of the injury. But here's the thing. Jordan Love, the comment was, sorry, for those not streaming on YouTube, I'm trying to do a better job of reading all the comments so everyone knows what's going on. The comment that we got here is, Love over there in Green Bay sat for 3 years. So this person thinks that they can take their time with JJ McCarthy, have Sam Darnold continue to start for the next 2 seasons or so, which, yes, in theory sounds right. But also Jordan Love was learning from Aaron Rodgers. JJ McCarthy would be learning from Sam Darnold. And again, not taking away from Sam Darnold, but like, it's just comparing sample sizes. Like, the talented Sam Darnold that we've seen a lot more not so great Sam Darnold. So it's just a very interesting circumstance, I guess we could say. But yeah, I guess even though, I mean, to even counter my counterpoint, even just JJ sitting and getting a feel for the flow of the game and just like working more with the team and everything in the roster, it could still work. I'm a huge fan of rookie quarterback sitting anyway, so I would never, ever say no to that. I think Sam Darnold might go to the highest bidder. Yeah, and then that's crazy. Daniel Jones is garbage. Yes, I completely agree. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Vikings Rams. Personally, I think the Vikings have played an incredible season. I just think the Rams have more experience in the postseason. I think they are definitely going to be able to take advantage of what they saw from Sam Darnold last week. So yeah, I say Vikings are moving on. And now the moment everybody has been waiting for, are we ready to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles? Can I get a go birds from everybody that's watching? I posted a TikTok about this yesterday, so if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, you'll be hearing me say this again. I'm feeling very confident about the Eagles heading into the postseason, and I don't know what to make of that, I should say, because holy shit, last season, I still have a little PTSD from playoffs last year, but if the Eagles can just do what they've been doing all season, not even biasly, I genuinely don't think anybody can stop them. I'm getting some go birds in here. Did I watch the Eagles hype video? Of course they did. It made me want to run through a brick wall. Fly, Eagles, fly to Cabo. No, that is not the energy. Fly, Eagles, fly to New Orleans. Oh my God. Jordan Love is also pulling out the flamethrower and throwing 3 touchdowns. No, not against this defense. Let me see. Jalen Carter masterclass. Yeah, I am so excited for this game. Starting off the season playing against the Packers, and then starting off the regular season playing against the Packers, and then moving on and playing against the Packers to kick off the postseason. Extremely poetic. And yes, the Eagles obviously won fairly comfortably week 1 of the regular season in Brazil. However, these are two very, very different teams than we saw. Packers are a very strong football team. Jordan Love is a good quarterback. They have a good roster. However, they have dealt with injuries. They're still dealing with injuries. They lost Christian Watson last week. Yeah, I just think the Packers play a little bit too erratic. And the Eagles have just been playing lights out on both sides of the ball. I have a stat here that I just thought was absolutely absurd. Let me pull it up. So in the 2024 regular season, no team was better when facing man coverage than the Philadelphia Eagles. No team and also no team was better when playing against man coverage than the Eagles. So the fact that both sides of the ball can just completely dominate a game. I mean, what do you do at that point? What do you do? How do you stop us? Granted, obviously Jalen Hurts has been out of commission. There's some really big question marks about AJ Brown right now, and kind of what's going to happen there. But as I said, if the Eagles can just do what they've been doing and play the way they did majority of the season, I think they are an unstoppable football team. And not just because they are my football team. Going back to my comment about the Packers being erratic, they've just been really hot or really not all season. And I just think the Eagles are going to be able to take advantage of that. What the heck? Packers 34, Eagles 21 final. They get to play on a proper football conditions this time. It's a wrap for the Birds. Sorry. See, when I talked earlier about the Packers and the Eagles being very different teams than they were earlier this season, I think the Eagles got better and the Packers did not. And that's all I have to say. Because coming into the season, Packers-Eagles to me felt like a very even matchup. I was very nervous about the Eagles defense coming into the season. I don't know who remembers that. But I was very unsure. It just felt like we lost a lot of pieces. We had a lot of young talent. We signed a lot of people. Like I was like, I just don't really know what to expect. I didn't know how it was all going to click together. Boy, did it fucking click together. Vic Fangio, I owe you my entire life. And I have a comment here on TikTok that the Eagles' schedule next year is insanely, insanely hard. The hardest schedule in history. And I agree. So we got to get to the bowl right now. And I think it starts by beating the Packers, which I absolutely, absolutely think is going to be able to happen. The Birds are 5-point favorites here. I'm doing an alternate spread. Birds minus 10.5. Birds. Let's go Birds. I'm loving this. This is a must-win game for the Eagles. Round 1 loss, not letting Barkley go for the record is unforgivable. I completely agree. I really wanted Saquon Barkley to go for the record last week because I was confident that he could have done it in the first half and then just sat for the rest of the game and it would have been literally no big deal. I also thought it would have been so good for just morale and energy for the rest of the team. Like I just thought it would have hyped everyone up so much. And especially given like the injury stuff that we were dealing with, I thought it was the right call. However, I completely understand the decision of playing it safe because last year we lost AJ Brown in a meaningless game and then lost round 1 of the playoffs. Another reason why this is a must win for the Eagles in round 1 of the postseason is not just because we didn't let Saquon Barkley go for the record. It's because of what we saw last year in the playoffs. And that was a round 1 exit. I can't live through another one of those. And I think the Eagles have a lot to prove. And I don't really want to get into this quite yet because I don't want to put that energy out there. However, I do think Nick Sirianni, if they lose, Sunday against the Packers, there's going to be a lot of question marks there. And as someone who's been very up and down with Nick Sirianni, who loved him initially, was really kind of unsure last year, and then kind of refill back into the hype this year, I'm very conflicted on my feelings on the whole situation. So I just want to see them go out there and play that the way they did all year. And if they do that, I think it's going to be very, very fun. I had a lot of people asking for my final score prediction. Here it is. I think, like I said, the Eagles are going to cover 10.5. I think they win 34-21 against the Green Bay Packers. And that's me being generous, guys. Someone mentioned Jordan Love 3 touchdowns. Here it is. If our, like, Jordan Love should not put up 3 touchdowns. Again, this is generous. I'm trying to be humble, just because I'm expecting good karma if I don't come out of the gates and be like, yeah, the Eagles are going to fucking just kill everyone that they play and they're going right to the Super Bowl. No questions asked, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to be a good person. And I'm hoping that the football gods reward me for that. So that's my thing. Not my thing. That's my prediction. We have another prediction here. Eagles 30, Packers 17. Phenomenal. I would love it. As long as the Eagles are winning. That's all that matters to me. Before I go into my playoff bracket, do we have any other questions on the Philadelphia Eagles? Oh no. Your defense made the Commanders look like the 2000 Rams. It was a divisional game and we lost our starting quarterback. Okay. Sirianni was one of the best coaches in Birds history. I mean, record-wise, yes. They're losing. Are you ignoring comments that aren't in favor of the Eagles? No, I'm just not looking at TikTok. You can talk shit on the Eagles. I'll live. We are getting ready to wrap up here. Wow, big game. 42-28 in the Eagles' favor. Do you honestly think that they can beat the Chiefs? I think this is perfect timing to transition into my playoff bracket. Please enjoy my screenshot that I edited in Canva for this. I literally took a screenshot of the bracket on the NFL website and then added in my picks. Here is my official playoff bracket. I have the Eagles leading up to play the Bills in Super Bowl LIX in New Orleans. That's how confident I am in the Eagles. I absolutely think they are going to the Super Bowl. I've thought it for forever. And here is the breakdown. So we'll start in the NFC because, like I said, I feel like I played it pretty safe on the AFC. NFC, game 1, Eagles Packers. Eagles beat the Packers. I have the Rams beating the Vikings, as I said. And then I have the Commanders beating the Bucks. So with the reseeding system, that would mean that the Lions end up playing the Commanders and the Eagles play the Rams. The Eagles beat the Rams to move on. The Lions beat the Commanders to move on. The Lions play the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. The Eagles win to go on to the Super Bowl. That is my prediction for the NFC side of the postseason. For the AFC side, I'm trying to do this in order, but there's so many games and so many teams. Texans, Chargers, as I said earlier, I have the Chargers moving on. I have the Ravens beating the Steelers. And then I have the Bills defeating the Broncos, which again, with reseeding means that I have the Bills and the Ravens playing each other in the divisional round. And we have an AFC West matchup in the divisional round with the Chiefs and the Chargers. Then I think we get the game that everyone has been waiting all season for, the AFC Championship game, which is going to be the Bills and the Chiefs, which is going into this big dramatic fashion. Expect an overtime. But the Bills finally get the dub here. They move on to play the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I did not pick a winner because I cannot do that unbiasedly at that point. You know I'm picking the Birds. I truly believe it's our year. I'm excited for it. It's time for the Birds to eat some cheese. Didn't you hear AJ Brown, guys? Cheese isn't real. I'm kidding. We are going to get wrapped up here. I'm going to say bye to everyone on TikTok real quick because they are literally just going to boot me after an hour. So thank you guys so much for watching. I got one more comment about my shirt. My shirt is from Game Day Couture. Make sure to follow me on all socials. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at the Sporty Jordy to watch the full episode if you didn't get to see. Thanks everybody for watching on TikTok. And now, all right, so we just wrapped up everything on TikTok. Take one more look at my playoff bracket. Talk all the shit that you want on it. I don't really know how to feel about it. I would love for the Ravens to make their way into the Super Bowl. With the way the Chiefs and the Bills are playing, I just can't see anybody else in the NFC championship or in the AFC championship game right now. If I could, in a perfect world, have an Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl, I'd be the happiest person ever. But yeah, and like I said, I think the Chargers could be sneaky if they are able to pull out a win this afternoon. I think they absolutely could sneak their way into the AFC Championship game. I just don't see them getting it done and getting to the Super Bowl this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are getting ready to wrap up here. Again, you can find me on all of my socials at the Sporty Jordy. We are going to be going live here on the Sporty Hour every Saturday afternoon leading up to Super Bowl LIX. I've had so much fun hanging out with you guys today. If you missed any part of this episode or if you came in late at any point, it will live on YouTube moving forward. And I really hope to see some of you guys back for next week as we get ready for the divisional round. Before we head off, obviously, go Birds. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.